This is a hopefully quick analysis on the Falcon and the Winter Soldier's scene, a specific one, being Buck and his shrink therapist. I'm just gonna get right into it. So first there's camera work. It's done simple yet effective. Most are just simple shots, but one set of them really stands out. It's where the camera gets real up close and personal when they're conversing. Just like really just smudging it in there. Mostly used only when Bucky is uncomfortable, up too close to the truth, specifically when asked questions he wants to reject, when the therapist is talking about things he'd rather not indulge in, or when he says things that leave him somewhat vulnerable, like...
This is new for me.
The lighting is simple, yet effective. We see a main source of lighting past the blinds onto Buck and the scenery involved. It emulates the idea of light shining upon Bucky. This gives forms of symbolism like holiness, peace, tranquility, as if light was shining past the leaves onto a tranquil forest. Which brings me to my next point, background and symbolism. The main one is right there, behind Bucky. He sits in front of a background of a nice, empty, peaceful forest. Simply put, that's where he thinks he wants to be, in this piece of tranquility. He literally mentions that he wants peace. This concept is also seen within his days in Wakanda, as he tends to his sheep and honestly is just very chill there. Something he yearns for. Also something that the therapist thinks otherwise. I may be digging too deep, but to me, there are a lot of forms of symbolism within this single scene. And honestly, just a single shot of him sitting there on the couch behind him being the tranquil forest. So first we gotta know that Buck seems somewhat out of place. When I think of a tranquil forest, I don't think of a rigid, enclosed, and more than anything tired man who has fought in countless battles to be sitting right there. He seems out of place to the picture behind him. Yet, here he is. It's up to you how you may want to interpret this. Is the universe telling us that Bucky doesn't belong in this tranquil, peaceful place? Or maybe, since it's the therapist's room, it's just the therapist that believes that. Another thing to note about symbolism is the fact that he sits on a free-person couch alone. Simply put, he needs friends, people to indulge with. The idea that he just wants peace, but is always forced into a fight is depressing, really. Now he is free of such, but is honestly somewhat lonely, hence why he's looking towards people like Yori or his love interest. Ironically, though, he is held back by the past that he tries to move forward from. Such are just a few things that Disney does right with the scene. It's these little intricacies as to how the scene was developed that easily enhance the scene. Not to mention, through the episode, in general, we see what Bucky's character arc is all about. We can move on with life after accepting our consequences, taking the punishment, and striving to be better. But what if there are consequences of things you have no intentions for? Bucky is in a really morally sticky situation. He had no intention of murdering so many individuals, yet he is burdened by its consequences. It wasn't he who killed those people, yet it was. Do you accept the consequences of the people you have to murder with no control, or are you allowed to be free of such? And what if those who you care about, such as Yori, have been affected by this? What if they still hold you accountable even though you don't believe you deserve to be? On a side note, I'd also like to mention real quick, Falcon and his family ship. I think that this is an easy connection to, well, spoilers for WandaVision here. It's an easy connection to Vision, as he talks with, himself. They talk about Theseus's ship at the end of the last episode of WandaVision, and the extent of which the ship is still the ship as it becomes replaced bit by bit. They come to the conclusion that it is the memories that matter. Now, Falcon's ship specifically does not have anything about being repaired and replaced bit by bit, but he and his sister do debate whether to sell the ship. Frankly, I don't think it's a coincidence that they both have the idea of ships. More importantly, the idea that Falcon's ship is tied to their family, its heritage, and its memories. They share similar aspects. I believe that Falcon's answer is the same as Vision's, that it's the memories that count. You can sell the ship and its material value, but what matters is whether Falcon and his sister continue to cherish their fond memories of the events that happened within the ship with their family. The ship is only material, but If the thought stays, then the material should not matter.